الحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله والحمد حقه كما يستحقه حمدا كثيرا. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. اللهم لعن أول ظالم ظلم حق محمد وآل محمد وآخر تابع له على ذلك. اللهم لعن العصابة التي جاهدت الحسين وشايعت وبايعت وتابعت على قتله. اللهم لعنهم جميعا. ثم الصلاة والسلام على خير خلق الله أجمعين محمد. اللهم صل على وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين إلى قيام يوم الدين. قال الله العظيم في كتابه الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وابتغي فيما آتاك الله الدار الآخرة ولا تنسى نصيبك من الدنيا. آمنا بالله. صدق الله العلي العظيم. And seek by means of what Allah has given you the future abode, and do not neglect your portion of this world. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. Amir al-Mu'mineen salawatullahi alayh, in his next description of the God-fearing, he says, Tara qariban amaluh. Now, to understand what this means before we continue, is when you say someone has tul amal, someone has great expectations or great hope in this world. This is what we're talking about. You will find that the God-fearing qariban amalu, that they have simple hopes with this world. They use this world for what it is. Because the God-fearing always believe the end is near. They believe at any moment their Lord will call for them. So they don't have great expectations with regard to this world. They are not beguiled or enticed by their youth or their health or their wealth. You see a young person always thinks, I'm young, I'm youthful. You know, the youthful exuberance. When you see a young person, he thinks, yes, I'm above everybody. I'm capable. Have you ever seen a sportsman that comes in their rookie year and they look, yes, I'm young. They're so beguiled and they're so deceived by this youth. Someone in their health. When we're healthy, we think that we can tear down a wall. The second you get ill and you can feel you're feeble and you can feel this weakness. But when you're healthy, you don't see it. And it's likewise when it comes to wealth. A rich person doesn't feel this deficiency. They can walk anywhere and they can buy whatever they want. One actor, his name is Dom DeLuise. He's short, a really short actor. He's bald. And he's chubby. So he said, do you know what money is? He goes, money makes you 6 foot tall and muscly and have hair. This is what it is. This is the way it's perceived. When I have all this wealth, I don't need anything. You don't need anything when you have wealth. You could be 80 years old. You can marry a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10 without trouble. Okay? And she'll always take you because she thought that you're a soulmate and she fell in love with you. This is going to be the case in all places. Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali ibn Abi Talib, salawatullahi wa salamu alayh, when he dealt with this world, he gives you the template of how to deal. When he said, Ya dunya, when he says, Ya dunya, ilayki anni. When he speaks here, he's saying, Ya dunya, this world, oh this world. He said, get away from me. And listen why. He says then, Abi ta'arrad. You know, you trying to present yourself to me? You come to me to present yourself? Am ilayya tashawaqt. Have you become eager for me? He goes, La hana hinuk. Your opportunity to impress me has not come. Because Imam Ali alayhi salam sees the dunya for what it is. See, this is how you can understand they don't have this great expectation towards this world. And then he says, Hayhat ghurri ghayri. Far from it. You think you've got a chance of deceiving me? Go deceive other than I. I understand what your game is. Ad-dunya, as he mentions in another narration, taghur, wa tadhur, wa tamur. That the dunya first deceives you, and then it harms you, and guess what? Then it passes by you. You know, like someone that uses you just for that moment. They use you, once you're done, there's no use for you anymore. And then he says, La hajata li fik. I have no need for you. Why? Because it's a temporal world. Like I mentioned, it's a transient world. He has no need for it. قَدْ طَلَّقْتُكِ ثَلَاثًا لَا رَجْعَةَ فِيهَا. You know, when someone divorces their wife 3 times, and this is talking about the full extent, the full 3 divorces, the one where you divorce, God forbid if someone's that nuts to divorce their wife 3 times and then she has to marry someone else and the person divorces her, and then she comes back to him and then he divorces her 3 times, and once again this happens, and on the 3rd amount of the 3 times, that's it, she becomes haram on him for the rest of his life. Amir al-Mu'mineen said, this is how this world is. You're finished. I've divorced you to the full extent. You can never come back to me. He says, فَعَيْشُكِ قَصِيرٌ. He explains why. To live with you, to be with you, it's only small. It's very short. It's not short life. You're not worth it. You're not worth me taking into you. وَخَطَرُكِ. He says, يَسِيرٌ. When you see this point where Amir al-Mu'mineen talks about this dunya, you can see the problems. They're apparent. These dangers are apparent. He says, وَأَمَلُكِ حَقِيرٌ. That the aspirations for this world, they're base, they're naught, they're nothing. There's nothing, there's no aspiration because there's no future. It's like planting on desolate land, or planting on land that is infertile. No matter how much you irrigate that land, you're not going to reap anything from it. You can sow as many seeds, nothing will come. And this is why they have this belief with this world. They have a firm belief with what is in God's hand. وَيَقِينًا صَادِقًا. Was he saying dua bi Hamza Thamani? Who's been reading it this month? وَيَقِينًا صَادِقًا. So I have a yaqeen, a truthful yaqeen, that I'm certain حَتَّى أَعْلَمْ أَنَّهُ لَنْ يَصِيبُنِي إِلَّا مَا كَتَبْتَ لِي. So I am certain, I want this certainty that nothing will happen except what you have written for me. So, in other words, they place their trust in God's hand. So therefore they are devoted to acquiring good because they don't know when their time will come. And they're devoted to being obedient. And they rush to make up for what they have missed in terms of worship and the rights of others. As you know, procrastination is the thief of time, as they say in the proverb. And that's what people do, they procrastinate. And this is the major problem. Al-Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. He's talking about those that procrastinate and leave things till later. He says, إِيَّاكَ وَالتَّسْوِيفِ بِأَمَلِكَ. Do not let your hope think in any way make you procrastinate, that I have time. You know, you always give yourself, you know those people that do the assignment on the last day? They leave everything till the very end. They leave it to that last day. See, that's different. Because if your life clock stops and you got your exam tomorrow, you got no problem. You're not going to the examination hall. It's going to be your funeral. And your mates all probably miss out on the exam because they come to your funeral. So it stopped there. But if it's for you returning the rights in the hereafter and your life clock has stopped, you've been procrastinating. In fact, the biggest door into the fire of hell is this door, the door of tasweef, the people that were procrastinating, that left everything till later. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam says, إياك والتسويف بأملك فإنك بيومك ولست بما بعده. Because you are here in your day and you are not in tomorrow. So you don't know tomorrow is coming or not. He says, فإن يكن غد لك فكن في الغد كما كنت في اليوم. If you have a tomorrow, then be in tomorrow like you are today. That it's my last day. This is where it's going to stop. He goes, وَإِن لَمْ يَكُنْ غَدٌ لَكَ لَمْ تَنْدَمْ عَلَى مَا فَرَّطْتَ فِي الْيَوْمِ. If you don't have a tomorrow and today is your last day, he said, you will not regret for anything you've neglected. Why? Because you're up to date. I'm up to date with my duties, then I won't neglect. I don't owe anything. So I don't leave anything that I can do today for tomorrow. They're devoted to abstinence from sin for this reason. Unlike the material people who have great expectations from this world. Al-Imam Ali alayhi salam, sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Says, فَتَدَارَكْ مَا بَقِيَ مِنْ عُمُرِكَ وَلَا تَقُلْ غَدًا وَبَعْدَ غَدٍ. You know, you need to make up for what's left of your life. Don't say tomorrow or the day after. فَإِنَّمَا هَلَكَ مَنْ كَانَ قَبْلَكَ بِإِقَامَتِهِمْ عَلَى الْأَمَانِ وَالتَّسْوِيفِ. Those before you perished that based their lives on this hope and this procrastination that left themselves. They perished. There was a lot before you that did this. And this حَتَّى أَتَاهُمْ أَمْرُ اللَّهِ بَغْتَةً وَهُمْ غَافِلُونَ. بَغْتَةً. Death is so sudden. And it comes while you are unaware. While you are heedless and you have forgotten. When Mughira ibn Shu'bah was one of these characters. Like, you know, when you research history, this guy was so ghastly. In fact, they used to label him the father of fornicators. That's what he was known for. He was known for being an adulterer. That's how filthy he was. He was so filthy that he got caught publicly. This is how bad he was. And 4 witnesses came to witness against him. And Umar ibn Khattab paid the 4th one off, allowed the first 3 to witness against Mughira. The 4th one, who was paid off, said, I didn't see anything. So the 3 of them got lashed and Mughira got let off the hook. That's the type of person he was. You want to understand what kind of a despicable person this person was? He came up to Imam Amir al-Mu'minin and said, Ya Abul Hasan. He says, you know Muawiyah has been left in Damascus. And the one before you, meaning Uthman and Umar, the ones before, they put him there. So you might as well follow suit. He says, but, you know, because Mughira's trying to play both sides. He said, but just leave him there till you get all the allegiance from him, then get rid of him. You know, he's trying to think that Imam Ali alayhi salam has a connection with this dunya. Okay, like these people that do things for the sake of unity. You know, the people that say for the sake of unity. Or for sake of some political agenda. And I hear this thing in Lebanon. It's one of the worst things they say. They say, "Kalbi awi ma'ak wa ma yawi alayk." Ya ammi, I don't want a dog bark with you and not against you. Ma badi la yawi ma'i wal alayn. Ibr min hon. I don't want this dog with me to start off with. This is their agenda. They say he's okay, he's a dog, but he's on our side. No, Imam Ali alayhi salam would have done this from the start. When Abu Sufyan said, put your hand in my hand and we'll get rid of Abu Bakr and Umar. This is what Abu Sufyan said. Imam Ali alayhi salam refused to put his hand with Abu Sufyan. Abu Sufyan's an oppressor. He refuses to put his hand with him. So with the case of Muawiyah, this is what he said. فَقَالَ أَمِيرُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ صَلَوَاتُ اللَّهِ عَلَيْهِ to Mughira. He says to him, أَتَضْمَنُ لِي عُمْرِي يَا مُغِيرَ فِي مَا بَيْنَ تَوَلِّيَتَهُ إِلَى خَلْعِهِ. Look what he says. Can you guarantee me life, O Mughira, from when I put him in power to when I take him back out? Because it's not going to be over an hour or so, or a day or two. You don't know how long it takes for Muawiyah to get all the allegiance for you. And by that time, if Muawiyah doesn't have a little ploy, a little trick card up his sleeve, because Muawiyah was known for this. Muawiyah, who throughout his life, even on his death, he played a trick. When Muawiyah was buried, just to let you know, he ordered them in his wasiyyah to put Amr ibn al-As, the one that does the talqeen. Obviously I don't know what talqeen he was doing, but he was doing something to Muawiyah. He was down there with him in the grave, and then he had written to his son Yazid, while he is down there, you put the sword onto him. You say, give me allegiance or I bury you with my father. Even up to then he was plotting. And then when he did this, Amr ibn al-As gave allegiance to Yazid. But while he did that, he kicked the body of Muawiyah. He said, this was your idea, not his. Because Yazid was a fool. He wasn't intelligent. Muawiyah was cunning. So even still, do you know Muawiyah is going to fall in line or not? So Mughira says, La, I can't promise you that you're going to live till you remove him. And then he says, this is something that makes you shiver down your spine. This is Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam talking. He says, La yas'alani. He says, La yas'aluni Allah an tawliyatahu ala rajulain. Imagine, he says, so that I don't want that God asks me that I've put him upon tawallaytu ala rajulain, just two men. Look at them out. Even if I put him as an authority over two people, he says, min al-muslimin laylatun sawda abada. Laylatun sawda. When you're talking about that black sinister night, he says, this is how the day of judgment will be. When God asks me, you left this Muawiyah to rule over just two people. I don't want to be asked. Amir al-Mu'mineen is Amir al-Mu'mineen because he fears God. He's in this position because of his position, where his wariness to God, the presence of God wherever he is. Even for something like this, he refuses. وَمَا كُنْتُ مُتَّخِذًا الْمُضِلِّينَ عَضُدًا. Amir al-Mu'mineen said, listen to this. Remember when I said a dog barking with you, not barking against you? Amir al-Mu'mineen said, I will not take adal, someone that's astray. What's a adud? Adud, if you say, I will not take him as aduda, I will not take him as a supporter or an assistant or someone that's on my side. I wouldn't take an alliance with him. Because why? He's astray. I keep telling you this. It's not what you achieve, it's how it's achieved. You think, wallah, mashallah, we built this masjid. You're saying to yourself, I built this masjid. Where did you get the money from? That's what's important. Because do you think God is deficient? He can't build mosques in every corner of the earth? Do you think God is lacking? Of course he can. لو شاء الله لهدى الناس جميعا. Allah could guide everyone. He's not deficient. He's not deficient. Allah put this land, this earth as a test for us. He's not deficient. He wants to see how you achieve things, how things are done. The Imam, I said, would not take a risk because he did not know, as he said to Mughira, what is to come next. And this has to do with Ahl al-Bayt's belief and their firm belief in Bida', which is another subject, which generally this subject is really good to discuss, but it needs several nights. Amr al-Bida', and they believed in this. And this is why they used to act, that God can change his will at any time. The second thing, he would not use this today's politics. Okay, take a supporter from someone who is astray. You take a look at the youth. A youth is so ambitious, and they always tend to forget the abruptness of death and when death will come. So Amir al-Mu'mineen salawatullahi salamu alayhi says, لا تكن ممن يرجو الآخرة بغير عمل ويرجي التوبة بطول أمل. Do not be of those that hope for the hereafter, hope for paradise, without doing any actions. And of those that leave Repentance, because they have great expectations for life. They've got a lot of hope that they're going to live forever. This is why I mentioned with the abruptness of death. When it comes to you, then it's all over. And you have no chance to fix what you have done wrong at this point. When Amir al-Mu'mineen speaks about the ajal of a person, their death, and when it's come, he says, فَإِنَّ أَجَلُهُ مَسْطُورٌ عَنْهُ وَأَمَلُهُ خَادِعٌ لَهُ وَالشَّيْطَانُ مُوَكَّلٌ بِهِ. Your ajal is mastur an. When your time to die, no one knows it. Your time is hidden when you're going to die. He says, وَأَمَلُهُ خَادِعٌ لَهُ. You will get tricked by your hope. I'll give you a good example of what I mean by you get tricked by your hope. How often do you get up to the mihrab, you get up to pray, as you say Allahu Akbar, you think about what you're going to do next. Do you know why you should pray on time firstly? Do you know why you should pray on time? Because most of the time, the angel death strikes is at prayer time. That's why you should pray at time. Because this is the time for you to make sure you have prayed. And at this time, you should be thinking to yourself, am I going to make it past this prayer? And not think about what I'm doing next. Will I make it past this prayer? Don't have hope that it's going to go past this. And it says, وَالشَّيْطَانُ مُوَكَّلٌ بِهِ. The shaitan is after you. He's working hard. This is why when you're praying, we mentioned that the mihrab is called mihrab. Why? Because you are in a harb. You are at war with the shaitan. While you're praying in your niche, you are at war with the shaitan while you pray. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. إن أشد ما أخاف عليكم خصلتان. The thing I mostly fear upon us, Rasulullah says, fears upon the people, believers, are two branches. He says, اتباع الهوى وطول الأمل. Following the desires and having great expectations or great hope in this world. He says, فَأَمَّا اتِّبَاعَ الْهَوَى فَيُصَدِّ عَنَ الْحَقِّ. If you follow your desires, what are you going to do? You're going to shun away. You're going to ignore what is right. You're going to ignore the truth. You're going to commit sin. Then he says, وَأَمَّا طُولُ الْأَمَلِ فَإِنَّهُ يُنَسِّ الْآخِرَةِ وَيُنْسِ الْآخِرَةِ. When you have a lot of hope, you start forgetting about the hereafter. You're not worried about it. You're not preoccupied. This is why many delay their religious duty until they get very old. How many people do you know right now, they're young and they're thinking about Hajj when they get older? I need Hajj when I hit 60. Once I've done it all. I've finished partying, I've done everything I want to do. When I'm 60, I'll get old and I'll be one of those chairs that sits in the mosque and reads Quran. This is what they do. There's some people that get old in this way, that they worship God, they go Hajj, they perform what's righteous, and then they're in the mosque reading Quran and praying, but they've lived their whole life on a righteous. No, then there's ones that leave it to the very end. Some of them don't make it. Because when the ajal comes, others, it just becomes a habit because he can't do the other stuff anymore. You know, because when he's young, he's always, his testosterone's peeking through the roof. You know what I mean? He's like a hammer and everything looks like a nail. That's how he is in his youth. When he gets older, you know, if he gets one shot a week, he's done well. You know, this is what happens. You know, فهمكم كيفي. You know, you understand what I'm trying to say. But when they reach this old age, you know what I mean? It's all gone. So what he does, he says, all right, I'll go sit and read a bit of Quran. This is what happens. I need to take advantage of this because the Imam says, فَقَدْ أَفْنَيْتُ بِالتَّسْوِيفِ وَالْآمَالِ عُمْرِي in Dua bi Hamza Thamali. That my whole life I've wasted in procrastinating and in hope of living. I've wasted this whole life. This is what we supplicate in this dua. We said some make it, some don't. Some make a change. Some of those just do the change, like I said, as a social thing. But you'll be questioned about your youth. Hadith says you'll be questioned. وَعَنْ شَبَابِهِ فِيمَا أَبْلَاهِ. Because your youth is where your taqa is. This is where your energy is. This is where all your desires are peaking. Your ability. While you are youthful, this is where you have all these abilities. So this is where you will be asked. Now the question comes here. So if I remember I'm going to die soon, then everything will stop, isn't that right? If everyone has a morbid fascination with death, what will happen? It will prevent progress. Besides, Rasulullah says what? Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He says, Al-amal rahmatun li ummati. Okay? وَلَوْلَا الْأَمَلْ مَا رَضَعَتْ وَالِدَ وَلَدُهَا وَلَا غَرَسَ غَارِسٌ شَجَرًا. So he says, Al-amal, hope, because I've been saying that having good hope, having hope, the muttaqi doesn't have hope. Then I say, then doesn't this hadith contradict? This hadith says what? This hadith says that the hope is a mercy to my nation, and if it wasn't for hope, no woman would nurse her child, and no one would plant any trees. In fact, there's a saying for a philosopher called Albert Camus, or Albert Camus as we would say it in English. He says one of the biggest philosophical questions or dilemmas is the question of suicide. And this is a point I agree with him, 100%. I cannot fathom how someone doesn't believe in a hereafter, doesn't believe in God. I once wrote that an atheist that commits suicide has answered his calling. Really? As if they don't believe in a hereafter, why are they alive? Why are they alive, man? If I had to listen to Alan Jones every morning, I'd top myself. Really? Why would you actually sit and listen to that every morning? How could you handle that? And imagine you're sitting every day and you're just listening. This whole world pushes an agenda down your throat. And you're the right wings in this world. There are two right wing, the left wing, two left wing. There's no middle ground. Everyone hates each other. The whole world wants to kill each other. Every game you play is violent. Every movie you watch is violent. Every TV show you watch is violent. Everything you're being exposed, you're adulterated. For God's sake, I was in the UK, they were selling G-strings and push-up bras for 8-year-olds. 8-year-olds. This is the type of world you are living in. Why would you want to live if you did not believe in the hereafter? Why would you want to live if you did not believe in this? But Rasulullah is saying here, the hope of this nation, hope is a mercy to this nation. Because he is what makes the God-fearing different. They combine the two. Remember we said they're moderate. They don't have hope in this world for what it is. But they get married in this world. They have children in this world. They work to provide. They study to help. They buy a house. They do all these things because this is what they are required to do. And this is where the introductory verse comes in. وَابْتَغِي فِي مَا آتَاكَ اللَّهُ الدَّارُ الْآخِرَةِ الدَّارَ الْآخِرَةِ وَلَا تَنْسَ نَصِيبَكَ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا. Allah Azza wa Jal in this world has given you the means, and the first thing you're supposed to seek is your hereafter. But don't forget your share and your portion in this world. God doesn't want you to go sit in the corner of the mosque and sit and worship all day. You have to work. One man was praying. Rasulullah entered the masjid. This man was praying. He said, this man is here all the time. Has he got a family? They said, yes. He says, who provides for his family? They said, his brother does. He said, his brother is better than he is. Shuaydam Fakir, you think the whole story is just get up and exercise all day, sit there and pray all day. If this is what it is, this is what makes the God-fearing different. They are moderate. They are moderate in every single way whatsoever. They work, but the same token, while they work, they don't cheat people. They don't, when they say when a person comes to work for you, they say pay the worker his dues before the sweat dries on his brow. They don't make you go mad. You see that one that comes in, you do your job, you finish, you're tired, and then that antagonist, the devil's spawn, the one, the defect searcher. After you finish, he goes, oh, yeah, I don't like the way that tile looks over there, all right. You haven't fixed. And after you've worked so hard, you feel like putting his head through the tile. You finish and he's only doing this so he underpays you. There's no other reason. He's not doing this because of his haqq. He does this just to underpay you. This is their purpose. This is what we are talking about with the hereafter, with regard to the hereafter. This is when it comes to you're supposed to work, but don't cheat. You're supposed to marry, but don't impress. Now sometimes someone thinks they got married, it's like they think they've made something. This woman, like one guy once said, he said a woman is a dog to her husband. This is what some people think. They got this mentality. I don't know what cave did this person crawl out of. Where do they get these people, really? Sometimes you think, man, lions aren't doing their jobs. Why don't people just consume these people? They shouldn't coexist with us. People that have this kind of a mentality, this backward mentality when it comes to dealing with others. When it comes to dealing with this world, I need to do what is required to live. And I should have ambition. Islam doesn't go against prosperity, having wealth. Islam's not against all this. Islam's against this attachment to this world, as I mentioned last night. As the hadith says, and this is either narrated on Rasulullah or on Imam Hassan or on Imam Al-Qadim alayhi salam, because I've seen it for three of them. He says, اعمل لدنياك كأنك تعيش أبدا واعمل لآخرتك كأنك تموت غدا. That's a simple motto to live by. Do for this world as if you are to live forever. Work in this world as if you're never going to die. And work for the hereafter as if you are going to die tomorrow. Keep this balance. You keep this balance and then everything will work out and you won't have any problems when it comes to this. Even when we read in the dua that we read in our salah, we read in the Quran, رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. If we were not supposed to deal with this world, then Allah wouldn't mention this. He'll just talk about the akhirah. But Al-Imam salawatullah alayhi, Al-Imam Al-Sadiq alayhi salam, he says, Rabbana, he says, Al-Akhirah, Hasana fil Akhirah, he gets Ridwanullah wal Jannah fil Akhirah. Getting God's acceptance and pleasure and paradise in the Akhirah. This is the Hasana of the Akhirah. He says, Amma al-Hasana, for the dunya, he says, وَسَعَ fil rizq. Look at this, it's something people don't realize. وَسَعَ fil rizq. When you ask Hasana in the dunya, you are actually asking for an increase in sustenance, to be prosperous. This is what Hasana fil dunya is. Because this is a means for you to get through life and you can achieve more in this manner. وَسَعَ fil rizq وَالْمَعَاش وَحُسْنَ الْخَلْقِ fil dunya. And to have good manners. And these are the things that get you by in life. They say you catch more flies with honey. Someone with good manners is someone that attracts people. But it's all about balance. And the God-fearing is a balanced individual. They don't have hope. The hopes are simple with regard to this world because they don't attach themselves to this world. And with regard to the hereafter, this is the pivotal point. But the final hadith, and I'll finish off, he says, لَيْسَ مِنَّا, Al-Imam alayhi salam says, لَيْسَ مِنَّا مَنْ تَرَكَ آخِرَتَهُ لِدُنْيَا. He's not from us, the one that leaves their akhirah for their dunya. So they leave their making up for their prayers, doing their, paying back their huquq, doing what's right, or being wary of the hereafter because of the dunya. The guy that's too preoccupied working all day and prays at the end of the day and uses the excuse, I'm nishas. I used to hate that excuse. You're nishas, man. You can wear something. If you always suddenly get nishas for some reason, wear underwear. If you can't stop, if you got this, some people have incontinence from a very young age. If you got this problem, man, get a spare pair of underwear. Save yourself the hassle. He says, سلام الله عليه, وَلَيْسَ مِنَّا مَنْ تَرَكَ دُنْيَاهِ لِآخِرَتِهِ. Vice versa. If you're going to sit there in your whole life just praying and fasting, going to Hajj, and your family ala nas, you know, the ones that become burdens upon society, they do nothing. They just come, listen to majalis, and that's it. They sit at home, they contribute nothing to society. This is a big problem as well. This is the other side of the coin. Neither way, the God-fearing is a balanced individual in every aspect. And the way to become like this is by constantly reminding yourself by attending majalis. At least once a week. At least. If not, listen to something at home at least. If you're not going to turn up. But to turn up to majalis. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal not to end this month for us except with us being saved from the fire of hell. ببركة الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد.